That's just it. Society cannot grow. When there's a pervasive mindset of it is what I benefit and that's it. I want this person there. I want this person from my tribal group there because he will be able to meet our needs at the expense of other people. And society cannot grow. So what I'm most scared about is the collective greed that we have not embraced in society. And I want to argue this morning that this greed is not because of poverty. No. It's not because of hunger. No. It's a quest to collect things you don't even need in the first place. You don't need the 3 square meals. I've gotten to the stage that if I eat 3 square meals a day, it's a liability to me. It's a liability to my body, and it's a liability to how I function. For those that drink alcohol, you do not need excess alcohol. You don't need excess property. But when you increasingly have a population that want to grab all of these things for themselves, needlessly, then it's going to be hard to run a country. We keep talking about societal change, but have you wondered that this same leadership that we also attack so much, they come from amongst our flock, within our folk? What did we as a society teach them? We taught them greed. We taught them to continuously to take and amass wealth that you will not take anywhere. We taught them to take what doesn't belong to them. We taught them not to love people that are not from their ethnic group. We taught them nativism. We taught them it's about me and me only. That's what we taught them. We taught them you must have something in it for you to do. You know, I posted up yesterday about an outreach I'm going to be doing very soon in my village. And before you know it, a lot of people are now saying, oh, yeah, you're doing all this, thank you. The next thing, politics. And I look, I say, can't we have a heart of giving without politics? But you know, because of the collective greed, we have a society that we have not seen people doing charity as a precursor to politics. Pure and simple. And that's why it has to be said, we cannot move forward with a collective greed system. And I'm talking about this because we blame leaders like, oh, the problem is all about the leadership. But we forget that you, the follower, they still talk to you every day. You still influence them largely. People from their constituency still influence them largely. So what are you telling them? Or what are you asking them? What are you telling them? When you get a chance to meet somebody that is a leader, do you ask them what is in it for me? Or is it about the favors? Or you say, oh, let me impact you with good advice. Why have we built a society that it's about who you know? You don't think you can have a fair deal anywhere. It's about who you know. It's always about who you know. So you are putting all your problems on one man that has access to the state purse. After some pressure, he will cave in. And when he caves in, you will still complain that that man did not spend the resource properly. But you were putting pressure on him, weren't you? I mean, you go to the home of some leaders. You see all sorts of people there asking for one thing or the other. How do you expect him to be able to meet all your needs? How? How do you expect him, what man, to be able to meet all those needs you're asking? You knew when you were giving birth to that child, you don't have the resource to be able to take care of the child. And you said, oh, it's the head of a child that brings goodwill, which is also a societal anomaly. And you brought the child to the world. And when you brought the child to the world, the next thing, you're going to meet the leader to help you fund the life of the child. Yes, I know the leader can help in providing schools and all of that, but money for the daily upkeep, he might not probably be able to provide that for you. It's not his responsibility. But you dump that responsibility on him, and if he doesn't give you, because you are Ward 5 chairman, you start to instigate people against him. So, is it his problem that you couldn't take care of your own responsibility? And if he now looks and says, okay, how do I get this money? Let me take from the state coffers. Let me call contractors to cut the cost they ought to use to do a good job and plow it into helping to raise money for you. You will still get to complain that the road is not good. But how about you that went to him to ask him for money? How about you? Like I said before, we're targeting an outreach on the 29th. Our health outreach is going to be at 2 centers. The first one will be the Oseni Library. The second one, the second one will be at the health hub that we're just having out now. So 2 centers will get people, and we're partnering with AfriHealth. The owners of Rigor app will get screenings as much as possible, blood pressure, just basic healthcare, and also health counseling for a lot of people out there in the environs. And as I get more capacity, I'll be able to push this up more. So the question is, you ask the leader for money, and you ask the leader for funds, you are complicit in the matter. Because the reason why he's stretched with the little budget he has is because of what you want to take from him. To shun this national greed, can you start by not asking a politician for money? Can you learn to live your life according to your means? I know that's a hard one to ask. Can you learn to live your life within your means and not depend on any politician for anything? If we can have more people, yes, I know the other answer you're going to give me is that, oh, Rufai, then we need to create more jobs for people. Then the politicians should create more jobs. Or create the enabling environment, because they can't necessarily create jobs, but create the enabling environment to create jobs. But as you, as an individual, can it be less about you going to seek favors from people in the political class? Because when you're asking for money, except you get a contract or something and you provide a service, when you're asking for money, where do you want the so-called politician to see that money from? Because it's a human being too, just like you. Yes, he might have some more resource than you, but where do you want him to get the money from? Where? Because there's no other place he's going to get the money from rather than your own purse, which is the people's purse. And the earlier you realize this, the better. We'll be able to build a society where accountability is. Why don't you encourage him more to do more for the collective good? That should be the order of the day. That should be the order of the day. Why don't you encourage him to do more for the collective good of society? Rather than what you can get from him. Because if we're truly ready to build a country, there must be all hands on deck. The first part is the too much pressure on the political class. I mean, you collect billions from a man during elections. You think he's not going to want to recoup his money when he gets into power. Let's not deceive ourselves. Let's not deceive ourselves. You collect a lot of money from a man during elections. You think if he gets in there, he's not going to want to pay back the favors of people that gave him money? I'm sure you know some of these politicians take loans. They sell their houses to run for political positions. Do you know the debt some of them are in when they don't win in the aftermath? I've seen politicians that were landlord of multiple houses. They turned into nothing when they lost their senatorial seats. The other day, somebody was telling me that for the primary process to be able to get a senatorial ticket alone, he expended over 200 million. This was 4 or 5 years ago, and nothing still happened. So what account is he going to write it? And because when the demand is all about money, you will not get people that can listen to you. When the demand is all about money, what is the need for them? You will not get people that can listen to you. And that's why you see, to a large extent, your voice of accountability might not really count once you are still very involved in this greed, except you have an outlier case, like it was in the last elections, where a lot of people actually got around their candidates, and it was all or nothing. Now for the very first time, we started seeing things shift, and people were like, "No, it's not about how much you're going to give us; it's about what we want to vote for." But when are we going to have this pervasive mindset that I'm not interested in what I want to collect from you as a politician? Because if we don't have that, we don't go anywhere as a nation. We don't. We'll keep just turning around in circles because a lot of people are greedy and they'll make themselves stakeholders. But it's going to be at the expense of the people, because even the resource is scarce. You know why? Because the world has enough to meet human need, not human greed. So there is no how that the world will be able to meet your greed in a world that has scarce resource. If there were no scarce resource, we'll not have the study of economics, which just means appropriating scarce resource. So what do you want to do now? Do you want to continue with this collective greed where you are breathing down the neck of a politician, but you still want him to do well? But you keep collecting money. Where you see that money he's giving you, where do you think he's getting it from? Because you are the one that will even push him to stealing and say, oh, when other people were there, they did this, they did that. There are some politicians that they are just naturally bad. But there are some also that is the pressures of society that overwhelms them. Let's take some calls this morning. So because very soon we'll play the extended message. I told you I couldn't have the entire sermon last week because I had to go preach in a church. Josie, on the other hand, is going to play that message very soon as I finish here. But I want to take a lot of calls this morning. I want us to discuss this. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. And that's why our sessions here on Impact with Rufai are very unusual sessions. They're sessions that make people think. There's greed in the system. And we have a societal greed problem. And we've built a society where it's all about how much you have. Look at our song. If you don't get money, hide your face. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, great to have you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Kuchinya Goodness.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ojo.
Okay, great to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I was the lady that called last 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yes, I told you that I talked about my medical issue, then you asked me to go and run tests in a better hospital, which I told you I have no money to feed my bill. So you encouraged me to call up my number, and since then nobody has contacted me.
Right. I mean, I can only encourage you to call out your number, but you know these things are not in people's pockets. So it's out of gladness of their heart they do these things. So I can't.
So nobody has called me. I don't know if I can call my WhatsApp number. Please, sir. Anybody that can assist me.
Your number is 0906-537-6478. That's your number, right?
Yes. Let me call the second number, sir.
No, don't call two numbers. You'll confuse people. You can't have two numbers at a time. You confuse. I've called your number out for you. Let's wait. It's not a must that they must do it. All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
So people just call. They just do these things out of the free will of their heart. It's not that they are compelled to. And that's why you must live a life that if you don't get a means, that's it. I mean, that's it. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. Hello.
Hello, morning.
Morning, great to have you.
Hello.
Morning, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's Kana. I'm calling from Lagos.
Yeah.
Morning.
Yeah, morning. Yeah.
Yeah, God bless you. I like what I've been this morning.
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. 0818-099-1991. So let's have this conversation. Because today we'll cut the politicians some slack because we blame them every time. Don't we? Yes, we do. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yeah, good morning.
Morning, yeah.
Hello, my name is Okuchapa. I'm saying from Kogi.
Oh, great to have you from Kogi. How's Kogi now, my brother?
Kogi is really too, thank God.
It's also joy having you every time from Kogi.
Exactly. Just trying to reach out and also to tell you that what you are doing is great.
Thank you so much.
This conversation this morning is something that has discovered one that has eaten deep into our hearts, and we all can change after changing how our conversation with politicians, with leaders, not only politicians, even businessmen. So let our conversation change. Let's change the narrative from acting the personal interest rather than acting for collective.
Thank you so much, Okuchekwa. 0818-099-1991. So today, because today I'm speaking up even for the politicians. Because do we even try to even think of their mental health when we make all these requests? I sit down with some of them and I just hear them out. Do we even think of the effect on them when we are constantly about our requests? And we're trying to dump all our own personal interests over them and lord it over them. Do we think of that? Yes, we'll criticize them when it has to be criticized, because uneasy has a lies the head that wears the crown. But do we even think of what we are doing when we're constantly asking them for this resource that most of them do not have? So because a man is governor of a state, he must fund your children's lifestyle? Is that it? Oh, sorry, there's a car honking outside. He must fund your lifestyle and he must fund everything about you because he's a governor, right? Is that what you want? Don't you even think of the mental health of the person involved and what he's going through? Because when we have this constant level of greed in our society, I will want the very best. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. He's a leader does not mean he must be killed or he must be destroyed or he must constantly walk in line with everybody's personal interest. So if the leader tries to solve everybody's personal interest, so when is he going to work on the collective interest of society? When? Just when is he going to work on the collective interest of society? And I ask this very boldly. So let's have these conversations. Because so every time we criticize them like they're the worst things in the world. But also, when are we going to have that empathy also to check ourselves and say, honestly, have you really been greedy? As a citizen that go and knock at the door of a politician and say, okay, give me this or give me that. And I think these are pertinent questions we need to ask in society. Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, Rufai. Good morning.
Very well, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Christian from Lagos.
Oh, good to have you, Christian.
You say you want to have a deep conversation on this.
Yes.
So let's talk about this. So
let's go.
Let us ask you a question. Who are the people making these demands on politicians?
Rich, poor, every segment of society. You'll be shocked, Christian. The so-called people that you think they're well-to-do also make these demands. Apart from the poorest, The richest of the richest. The only difference is the dimension of demand might be different. So from asking for a few couple of thousands to pay students tuition fee to asking for that contract worth over $1 billion without due process.
Okay. So I know you're coming from. So if it's from the poor of the poorest, I don't think they would make those kind of demands. But if you're going higher, so like what you said, contract, funding the lifestyle of your kids, so that becomes a different conversation. So for those group now, the question I'll now ask is, what grip do they have on the governor? You know, did they have a hand in taking the governor to where it is today? Because that's another conversation.
So some might not really have the hand in taking the governor where it is today. But some people are very entitled in society.
Sure.
I mean, if you know the inner workings, you would understand. Some people are very entitled in society and they have that edge. And once they start to make the demands, there's little or nothing you can do.
So what happens if the governor declines such demands?
Oh, so when the governor declines such demands, there are two things that happen. Number one is the beginning of many consequences, like we saw in some cases where some governor cut off some access to some people. And when it was time for re-election, they were like, oh, you cut up that drain pipe, so that pipe for us, then you're gone. Then it's constant attacks, it's constant distraction.
Okay. I get it now, because I'm trying to really understand, you know, because you're trying to, I won't say exonerate, but you don't want to...
No, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I criticize politicians a lot because a lot of the times they drop the ball, but I'm not exonerating them. But I'm also saying it takes two to do the Argentine dance called the tango. So if we're also criticizing them, but how about us too that go with all forms of special interest?
So, but let's just think this problem is foundational. I like the fact that you mentioned that song you mentioned that was sung by that artist, I mentioned to me, that you said recently, you know, because I always feel, I listened to Jim Carrey one particular time. I'm sure you know Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He said something. He said that, do you know that people in the top shop in Hollywood work with musicians to alter their lyrics? That way they can, what they call social engineering, you know, to change re-engineer the mindset of the people.
Oh,
so when you hear the songs they sing now, or we hear now, it's not about money. Like you said, we don't get money behind your face.
Yeah.
So we say, you know, so it's always money. So when a child grows up hearing this thing, you know, all he's hearing is money. That child probably gets to a higher post in government. All he wants to get is money. Because he got to a point. Honestly, I just feel I've had this concept a long time. So happy you mentioned it, because I've always known that you cannot, the way this guy sing that song, there has to be some connection with being a politician. And I also noticed that whenever there's a serious issue, you know, to be discussed, there's always a song that comes out that time. It's always, you know, maybe it's BB Nigeria that is always coming up at that time, and it creates a distraction. So I think this thing is foundational. It's foundational, and it has crept into our system. And regarding the entitlement, it's not far-fetched, because the average Nigerian is entitled.
Yeah.
He's entitled.
Yeah.
And I don't think it started today. From the musicians, from the churches, you know, my brother is having the GO. I feel I need to always get things from him. So I think it's foundational. I wouldn't really want to, like today, I wouldn't really want to accept the politicians as they were now, but I think they're also, because if for instance, Rufai, I'm creating a ripple effect
it would fall to my side.
Yeah.
So that seed has been sown from the beginning of the domino. So it's going to fall. That's that. It's not a matter of time. It's going to fall to my side. You understand? So it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot happening. It's a whole lot. When we say how do we solve this? The truth is we can't solve this. I know how our day was taken away from office, and this thing you made the same thing, setting demands, and the people took him out. I don't know what details into how he was removed, but I saw everything happening. You know, it's crazy. So it's a whole lot. Sometimes I think about these things, and honestly, I really get tired because you ask yourself, where do you want to start from? You know, I'm walking on the road, for instance, and all these boys around just see you, and they just come to you like, and you can't just help but just give them. Not you can't insist. But when you look at them, like, you know, so they don't harm you. You just give them this, you give them that. So it's an eating deep. We can't solve this. You know, we can't.
But at least we can challenge the thought process, and that's the work of the media. So I've brought you to the phone now, and I know a lot of people will think about it, and we can start to challenge the thought process. See, in my work as a journalist, I cannot change the world, but one thing I can do every day is to come out and challenge the world. So this morning with this conversation, I am just challenging the world. That's just it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Let me get on another call. Hello, how are you?
My brother.
Great to have you. I'm Ambassador Musba. How is our what's it called going on in Muchi? I've asked a lot of people to reach out to you to help as much as we can. And please, everybody listening or watching out there from all over the world, 0803 572 8196. That's Ambassador Musba's number. Reach out to him. There's something. We're just doing like a Mushi makeover. I mean, Ambassador Musba has a lot of influence in Mushi. He can go out there, talk to the boys that are going through, you know, the scourge of alcohol and drugs and things like that. I mean, let's just add a difference to people's life. I'm not saying we can do everything. I'm not saying I'm perfect. You know, I'm not perfect too. But let's just do the little we can do. Like Ambassador Musba, I'm doing my own little one in the Dogbolu zone on the 29th of June. You know, having a health outreach across 2 venues in the village, you know, at the library and also at a little place I built for health and all of that. So let's just have this chain reaction of good.
On my what I've done so far.
Good, Ambassador Musba, talk to me.
I thought about 12 junction in Mushi. I know those who live in Mushi, I don't know Mushi very well. We go along with me for the street. I'm going to make sure. You know, the first place where this is Akala, and I can't go there for now. It's like take gospel to the shrine. We can't go there, but close to that place is Awolowo Market. The street Okumoko, close to Awolowo Market, that's the spot where we can do and make successful there. The second one is our Lord should go by Macaulay Junction, going to Oyo Street. That's another junction where we have this point. That was close to me there. There's another one, Buhari, by Solomon Close. That's another spot where we are marked that we remove that today, going to make a lot of orientation and there's one at Kappa Bamata Tere. There's a junction, the way this boy used to be there, cross that railway line. That's another junction. I know it's Olateju by straight down with a water to Ulupeju. That's another junction there. So this place, I'm writing this down. If we can move together, if they are like mine, who has this volunteer mind, who are good at speaking. If we come together, we do a lot. Who don't give a lot and bring this point back? And it's one of them. I'm going to say this. Ask me one question. Why are you to this book? He said, well, God, my friend. He said, what are the friend? Is that friend is what I cater for him? So if that
Okay.
Better for our nation.
Okay, so please, guys. I mean, I don't have a lot, but I have media. Ambassador Musba had just stated about 5 different areas we can go and do an advocacy for the boys that are really caught very deep in drugs and alcohol and things like that. Ambassador Musba's number is 0803-572-8196. So that's 0803-572-8196. The Impact will Rufai. I supported a lot of, charitable works. I do some myself, but I can't do it all alone. So I need a lot of people doing great things. I can just amplify them. Our brother that normally calls, I'm sure he'll probably call before the end of the show, that calls from Abuja, that does the outreach in Nasarawa and all of that. He's been helping a lot of people out there. And we keep giving out his number. So I've given out Ambassador Musba's number out. You can call him up and say, okay, Ambassador Musba, how can I partner with you on this Moshi makeover project? Just to go talk to boys that are caught very deep in the scourge of alcohol, drugs, and things like that. That their lives are just wasting away. So his number is 0803-572-8196. I'll tell you a little bit about Ambassador Musba. He's been an advocate for change in Nigeria. During the June 12, 1993 struggle, he lost his sight. No, Ambassador Musba, let me just give you a background about you, please. He lost his sight during the June 12 struggle. He's been an activist since then, and he's been helping a lot, to revamp society. I mean, these are true champions of society. So he's somebody that I have not met him one-on-one, but I know his work, and I know what he stands for. I've been talking to him on various radio platforms for about 10 years. And that's it. So please, 0803-572-8196. Call him up, see how you can be part of this, Mushi Makeover project and all that thing. And it might not only be Mushi, it might be Jeshate or other areas of Lagos where you see boys are just gathering, they're not doing anything, they're smoking drugs, they're smoking weed and things like that. Let's try to take them off this and give them a life. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. Yeah, I want to share too. I believe what we have to make a better place. So thank you for that. God bless you to enrich you with more knowledge and wisdom. I'm now pastor now, I'm celebrating my 35 years of activism, and I'm launching a book. So if I put them, you can read this book for me. You can do anything for this to make this reality. That's part of my own project this year, and I'm celebrating my 60 years birthday. Coming in November. Okay. You can do something to partner on this too. Please, you are welcome.
Okay, so you can also help me partner in his book where he writes about his life experience with activism and all of that. So just call his number and show him some good love, please. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Yeah, bless you guys so much. So 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. So someone's asking any social media where they can see his works. Just call him up. You'll be able to get a trajectory of his works. But he's been at it for quite a while. I've been talking to him on the radio since I was at the former radio station, and that was about a couple of years ago, close to 10 years ago. So you can still call us up on the number, and we get to talk this morning. And we still reach out to a lot of people as much as we can. I mean, on Impact Rufai, we reach out, we talk inside. And like I said, the message I preached in at the Realm of Glory Church, we've played again. So I'm sure, Doze, if you're listening to this, just play back the last one I sent you, not the full church episode, but just play back the last one I sent you first. I think that's the 38 minutes clip of some of the insight I shared on distortion and things like that. Hello, how are you? Morning, sir. Can you speak up a little bit louder?
Yeah. Rufai, this is John Legend. Got it.
Oh, John Legend, great to have you.
Yeah. You see, when we are talking about these drugs, people are taking because I've been in where I'm pushing. That's where I am. I'm also in Yaba. I've been in some places for some time now. So one or two things I'm trying to use myself up to. What I've been happening. Most of these guys, like the one I saw some days ago, most of these guys have not even eaten anything. And they are taking all these drugs. Even the ones that are not even taking the drugs, most of them frustration are taking them into all these things. So what I see, some of the other ones that they are not even taking the drugs already, but they have not seen food to eat. Because I know what I do entrepreneurship because I make bad. I teach some people job free of charge, both men and women. You understand? Even me that are doing it, personally, how much government has helped me to provide? Nobody. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you are telling those who are taking drugs to come out from the drugs they are taking, to come out to one or two things, are you the one to give them food? Even the one that has hard work, they don't have any work to do. Some of them are tenors.
So should we rather leave them to keep taking the drugs like that, John Legend?
Most of this we supposed to start from the guys, but I'm just telling you because what I see.
So should we leave them by not making any impact, by not doing anything about it? Should we just leave them to continue?
I didn't say we should leave them, but
so what are you saying?
Let the government do the needful and help these people because most of these guys are frustrated. Let the government do the needful.
But in all fairness, the government might not be able to do everything.
Okay, because the government cannot do anything.
And that's why you have people. And that's why you have people stepping in line sometimes to do those things. The government might not be able to do everything. Let's not deceive ourselves.
No, what I'm seeing these days, in fact, even the drugs are even going higher every day. It's even going higher every day.
It will go higher because nobody's stepping in. The government might not be able to do a lot, and that's why I'm saying at least let's even start the process of engagement. There are people that when you engage them, they start to change. I mean, I remember particularly the work of Pastor Tony Rappo on the likes of a guy called Shano Wale, honestly. And I saw the transformation. It takes time, but at least let people start the process. That's just it. You never know. People that might reach out to Ambassador Musba, they might have jobs to give them. They might have things to give them. So let them start the process at first. All right? Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Great to have you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Rufai.
Bless you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Ibomusa. I'm calling from Benin City.
Good to have you, Mosa. Mosa, I know there's a big drug problem too in Benin City. I think places around, all the areas, there's a big drug problem too there. Maybe you might want to lead the charge for Benin, talking to the boys around there and just see how we can empower them.
Yes. One thing is that when there's an issue, what you look at is the cause or even the family. You understand? So some of all these boys that you see, they are drug addict and say some of them it's just based on they are frustrated. They don't have job, they don't have any means of life, livelihood. So they just prefer to just start doing drugs, just want to be frustration actually. So the thing is that I believe that this is something. When people are working and people are earning this, I don't think people just want to waste their lives like that.
No, but there are people that are earning that also do drugs.
Yes, exactly.
And they have good jobs.
When you see people that are living where they also do drugs, they just do that maybe out of, or they just like it. But we are talking about people that do drugs, that you see them roaming the street and they become the nuisance in the street. So those are the ones I'm talking about. But those that are rich get to drugs. But you won't see them roam the streets. So you understand? So I'm talking about the one that and even while doing that, they becomes, and that's when you get criminals. When you go to so many parts of Benin City now, like Yaro, and even some part of Yaro, like Yama, you see all these boys there. Even probably like you see them, you just know that that drugs have even useless their lives. Yes. So but when you talk to them, you see that they don't even have hope. Most of them, even some are even young boys, teenagers, they will tell you that they don't have parents, they don't even have who cater for them. So they decided to just enter the streets and just do whatever they like. So from there they will meet and they will form a gang and they become robbers. So that's for that. So
thank you. Thank you for the insight on the problem, but we also need to find solutions. I mean, I just believe I'm not a guy that thinks I can save the world, but at least I can challenge the world. So I'm like, even if it's one person you get to talk and say, okay, you know what, this is bad for your health and all of that. Probably you don't know the extent of that talk. What it can do. So I just believe in challenging norms. I might not have all the answers. I don't claim like I have all the answers. I don't think I have all the answers, but at least I can do well to have a steady challenge of the problem and see if I can find solution. That's just all I look for.
Yes, exactly. Why talking about the solution now? Because the truth is that most of all these boys, if you just go and meet them and talk to them, I don't see what is the effect or this is the effect they can cause to your head, and they just stop and go. Tomorrow they will see go there. They will see continue it. So the only way, to me, the only solution is just that's the, if I say the solution, I will have to go back to the government. So when things are okay in the society, they are just and all those things. So that's the only way. You always need engagement. So if you are taking them out of this, this menace, so you have to engage them, you have to give them something that will be, and that they can hold on to, they can use to feed themselves or their family, they want to have families. So that's just the only way. Without that, if you're
Thank
just
you.
saying just go and, advocate, talk to them, and all, no, it will not stop.
Thank you.
So that's it.
So talking to them also means empowering them. So I don't know. Maybe private charitable organization might be listening to me now in Benin that want to take up the job challenge. It's something I've just challenged you for this one. But thank you so much. Really appreciate you for your call. Hello, how are you?
Please, just be 30 seconds.
Ambassador Musba, you know the rules. If you call before, let others talk too now.
Yes, please, sir. If you don't have it, don't have it. A jot of thousand mind decrease itself. Only I've drawn over 10 people. Out of this, what makes it because I'm paid. Just do it.
Simple.
It's
Simple.
what you can do yourself.
That's just it. That's just it. That's just it. And this idea of waiting for the government for everything, forget it. Even America, with a close to 20 trillion, over 20 trillion economy, has a big fentanyl problem that the government cannot solve. So that's the government that has resource. All right. So that's why we too must easily. It goes back to the personal greed I was talking about. The fact that yes, we say, oh, they've not done this. So what are we doing in our own little area? I think sometimes we too should be able to pick up responsibilities and do your own little best. So that at least when it's on record, when people ask you, what did you do about it? You can say, oh, I did my tiny weeny bit. That's just all I'm saying. I'm saying collective people action. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, please. I'm the most imperfect you can ever meet. But collective actions. Can we collectively look at things and see how we can bring solutions to the challenges? Collective actions. That's all I want. Hello.
Hello.
Great to have you.
Yes, morning.
Bless you. How's it going? How are you?
Yes, it's nice
Yep.
my name is
Great to have you, man.
the part of the presentation that took me was the part of cutting positions on Slack. It's okay for you because I know you are a social engineer. But Rufai, how do we cut politicians on Slack when they have been the problem all along from this dispensation? Like Salam said, they are left a trail of tears, blood, poverty, and everything.
Them regular trademark.
Yeah, regular trademark. That's what they've left. It will continue. I finished from Israel. I went to Israel recently, and I was shocked at the level of decadence I saw in the House of Presidents. I couldn't believe that I lived here. It wasn't as if it was good in that time I was there, but then it has gone from bad to worse. The way our system is, a lot of revenue and work in the hands of the politician, but they are not change agents. We are all leashed to that basket they all come from where they go to steal and distribute. Yes, I've never taken the time from a politician before. I work, I earn some little salary, I used to taking care of myself. But if they have come out to say they want to be a politician, Even if you increase salary by 100 goals today, which is not possible, we're not going to get nowhere. We're not going to see these statistics, you see these things. Nobody is saying, okay, let's start even from here. Let's start even from.
All right, we lost that, but thank you so much. That's about all we get on the first part of the show. But the show still continues, and that's why you should go to our YouTube page. That's Voice of People 90.3 FM. And thank you guys so much. And hey, like I said, my outreach is coming up on the 29th of June, and probably still within the year, we still plan to have like a normally yearly debate competition and all of that, and some of the outreaches. I just hope to extend it out there and do a whole lot more. But thank you guys so much. And what you will hear next, obviously all of this show will be over soon, but what you will hear next, if you can just go to the YouTube page, VOP 90.3 FM, to continue the show. You'll see a sermon I preached at the church, that's Realm of Glory Church House last week, and it's called The Genesis of Distortion, and it's some ideas, about how the distortion started pretty much in Nigeria, historical antecedents and all of that. And he was preaching on of Leah Sharif. But that's about all I can take. So please, Josie, the 38 minutes cut, that's what you should go for. Bless you guys. Have a lovely Sunday. Thank you guys so much for being with me on the show this morning.
VOP, Voice of the People. VOP 90.3. Is strong. It is the voice of the people. Entertainment unparalleled. Satisfaction guaranteed. VOP, Voice of the People.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos, number 42, Muritala Muhammad International Airport Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in a beautifully appointed rooms featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your everyday need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop-off from the Lagos airport.
Take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant.
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So, why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
You are listening to the number one station, the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Do not touch that.
There comes a time in the affairs of man when the voice of the people stands unique, constantly challenging societal status quo.
Ibo call Imaguna Chemba.
90.3.
Wherever we reach, then we stop. He's worked with the BBC, featured in, Ivy League universities across the globe, Toastmaster par excellence, moderated panels of several governments of nations, facilitated trainings with top global brands, banks, including Microsoft and the likes, several radio stations he's been host of in their programs, too many to mention. He's a lecturer that teaches English at the National Open University of Nigeria in many of their centers. He's on the planning committee for the Global Entrepreneurship Week at the Lagos Business School. He's an author of several and many books that have won awards across the nations, featured on many TVs and newspaper publications and shows. Co-founded the VOP 90.3 FM in Lagos and also 96.1 FM in Abuja. He's the host of the Arise TV morning show, which is very popular with every one of us, host of the Rufai Speaks podcast, and has many my breath wherever we reach. Then we stop. He's worked with the BBC, featured in, Ivy League universities across the globe, Toastmaster par excellence, moderated panels of several governments of nations, facilitated trainings with top global brands, banks, including Microsoft and the likes, several radio stations he's been host of in their programs, too many to mention. He's a lecturer that teaches English at the National Open University of Nigeria in many of their centers. He's on the planning committee for the Global Entrepreneurship Week at the Lagos Business School. He's an author of several and many books that have won awards across the nations, featured on many TVs and newspaper publications and shows. Co-founded the VOP 90.3 FM in Lagos and also 96.1 FM in Abuja. He's the host of the Arise TV morning show, which is very popular with every one of us, host of the Rufai Speaks podcast, and has many, many, many awards, too numerous to mention. He's a global speaker, an entrepreneur, and a development expert. Realm of Glory, join me this morning as we welcome Mr. Rufai Oseni.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Realm of Glory, good morning. So, people say a lot of things about me, but I do not deserve the applause. But let me tell you who deserves it. The one who picked me up as a child that lost his mom before the age of 10 and made me who I am today despite the circumstances around my birth. The one who gave me a voice that you know today that is not mine, but gave me that voice to be able to create an impact in society. All the accolades does not belong to me, and it will be foolhardy of me to take it. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lion in the tribe of Judah, the Lily of the Valley, the Rose of Sharon, the one who cannot be changed, the one who cannot be subsumed, the one who cannot be quenched, the one who cannot be stood up. Yorubas call him Agbanilagbatan. My Igbo call him Aguna Chemba. He's the real Odogu. He's the real Igwe. The one that saves my life every day. The only one I have. You know, people ask me, Rufai, do you have one Babalawo somewhere? I have Baba Banilagbatan. And I tell them I've never entered any Babalawo's house to go and leak anything. That the one who is my protection, I give all the glory to. So ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, I want you to do something radical for him. Straight jump! Because he deserves all the glory. Come on! Do something wild for him. We don't know how great he is. Hey. Listen, if you think where you are is by your power, it's a reflection of your direct stupidity. Please, just yada, wave your hands to him. Wave your hands to him. I know no other body. I know no other person. It's the Lord of Lords I know. And that's why I give him all the glory. So during the elections, when they harass me, they don't know my defender is the King of Kings. You say I talk anyhow on TV. I can talk anyhow because I am that I am. It's at my back. He says I should say it. And I don't fear anybody. I only fear who sent me. Because my life is not even in my hands. So it's in the hands of the one that gives life. So if you think I'm going to fear you, get out! Please be seated. So people ask me, where do my courage comes from? My courage comes from he that bred life into me. And I said that boldly because we have a society where people say their courage is with God, but they still go and lick something in the end and say, Baba, give me this to lick. And they call it Bendel Insurance. Yes. In fact, they give it a very funny name. They say, Igbabo Nikamasha Ajo. So they say fortification. So you tell them to put their shirt in public, all sorts of marks. That's not your protection. Our protection is in God. So it is not what you sprinkle in front of your business or your office that makes customers come. It is your good nature and your attitude backed up with God that will make the customers come. A lot of you, they've given you all sorts of things in dry gin and you put in the shop. It doesn't make anybody come. What makes people come? Good nature. 1, 2, backed up by the grace of God. I like the Yoruba Bible that says, the grace of God make it rich and added no sorrow. So please depend on the grace of God. I'm really excited to be in the house today. God bless you. And for me, it's a homecoming because this is the injunction God had given me many years ago. About 20 years when I started media, God said, Rufai, I'm sending you to as an apostle in the marketplace of media. So you are not the conventional journalist. And that's why I say I speak for national development because I have an assignment. I don't come on television to talk because I have to do work and pay my bills. No. I'm an apostle in the media space to be able to change the media space for Christ. And that's the cornerstone of my conviction. So for every time I cannot speak in tandem with what is the truth and reality and for the downtrodden, then I have not failed myself, I have failed God. And that's why we are different. Not everybody apostles in the media space. For me, media is not my career, it's a ministry. There's a difference. That's why when on radio in Lagos, you might have heard me on Inspiration FM for about 10 years running. I've been doing Impact on Sundays where I help a lot of people. Anybody ever heard that? Good, from Inspiration FM days. So I co-founded a radio station recently also called Voice of the People in Lagos and in Abuja. And since then, we've still been impacting people. So if it was about a career path and earning money, I know where to go and earn money. But because life is more important than anything. And you see, we have a nation that have a complete disrespect for life. That's why we are where we are today. That's why because of votes, some people came to scatter you in Okota, beat people up. We saw it. We said it. They threatened us, but we keep telling them the truth. We're not going to stop telling them the truth. So it's people that don't respect life. They think they can hurt life for elections. They say they want your vote, but they'll kill you to get your vote. They don't respect you. They don't. And that's the country we've built. And this across the political class. And some of these people even claim they are Christians. So you see, being a Christian is not by mouthing it. It's indeed where the works of your hands. You're a Christian, but you have to rig to win election. You're not a Christian. You're not a Christian. You want to rig to win election, and after you win the election, you went back and you say, "Oh, I thank God for this miracle. It has happened." That's why after the election, I just asked one question. I say, for those that have won, what did they win? And the question scattered the whole country. I said, go and ban that boy. He's a stupid boy. He said, he has started talking against a stupid boy. He's a stupid boy. But for those that have won, what did you win? When you beat and hurt people to be able to win, you think you have won? You have not won. For the fact you have cheated and they give you something, you think you have won? You have not won. In a matter of time, you will see that the true victory is when you win the hearts of the people. So when you win the fear of the people and you say people are afraid of you, you think you have won? I'm going to be talking about something called the genesis of distortion. And please, big kudos to Reverend Sam. He's a great man. Please, appreciate him. Appreciate Odudubariba himself. Oh, my brother, Mr. Malaki, God bless you. I remember, you see, Mr. Malaki is a great man. I remember the early days of Arise. It was the people we used to call to analyze issues. I remember them. You see, I've learned so much in life. Success does not freak me. When I got to Arise in 2019, nobody was watching Arise. We'll call some guests to book them. They will not come. People like Mr. Malaki will come. But guess what? The same people we used to call, that they don't used to come. When Arise became popular, they started calling me. Me too, I didn't pick their call. Because you know why? The Bible says, do not despise the days of humble beginnings. We're building something that was going to resonate. But you know, life, people are always accustomed to what is big. I always love to be the underdog. You know why? Because I believe the biggest room in the world is the room for improvements. So I am not there yet. The greatest curse anybody can curse you, say you have arrived. I've not arrived though. I'm still bringing bird out of my pocket. I titled it, I said the genesis of distortion. The reason why Nigeria it is today is because there's a genesis to the distortion. It didn't start today. And I'll take you back to some key dates. I'll take you back to the year 1914. The year 1914 was the year they amalgamated the Northern and the Southern Protectorate. But before then, the British had first amalgamated the Southern Protectorate. Because you see, when they came, they met us fighting ourselves. Prior to that time, we have fought the Kiriji and Jojalomi wars. So in the South, for instance, when the British came, the only thing they had to do was just to unite the warring factions. Because the Ijeshakiti Parako were fighting deep, the Oyo people and all of that. So we're fighting and we have made a lot of slaves. Most of the people that went from the Kiriji and Jojalomi wars were those that went as slaves to Latin America. Those are the people that came back as what we call the Agudaos. These are the likes of the Darochas. So that's why you see that Lagos Island is filled with a lot of Brazilian architecture. They even celebrate Fanti Festival. In fact, we eat frijon in Christmas. Frijon is not native to us. It's Portuguese food. So those were the cultures they brought back. But how did we get those cultures? Because we were fighting. So they said the kingdom of God suffered violence. And only violence can take us by force. We were already fighting from hitherto. Then the British came, settled the fight, then they colonized. The first inroad of the British in what is called Lagos colony today came in the middle 1800s. When two people too were fighting over the throne of Lagos, Kosoko and Akitoye. So they called in the British to come and settle fights. But you see, when you call a bigger man to come and settle fights of something that is very juicy, what do? They take it from you. So when Akitoye went aboard a ship called the HMS Prometheus on the Lagos Marina here, and he said, the British said, we don't know what you're talking about. Sign this edict that you will cede Lagos to us. So Lagos became a crown colony, and that's why in 1906, the first thing we did was the Southern Protectorate, the other fighting parts of the Yoruba parts, and Lagos colony. And that's why you see up till 1960, in fact, when we gained independence in 1960, residents full-born in Lagos had the chance to either choose a British passport or a Nigerian passport. But a lot of them opted for Nigerian passport. So after that amalgamation, they started to rule over us. So guess the things they started to do to us. The first thing they did was they distorted our mindset. That's the genesis of the distortion. So they told you that your black color was never good enough. How did they do it? Indoctrinations. At first, they told you have to go through an education system. And after the education system, they said your language was not good enough, so they taught you in English. Have you ever wondered that if we are taught mathematics in Igbo, there will have been more people with a sound understanding of mathematics than in English? So the first thing you have to do, you have to learn your colonizer's language. And when you learn your colonizer's language, they took away your identity on how to think. So they call your customs and traditions idolatry. And the last thing they did was that they set up a fight between you, because they know if you are united, then there's going to be a problem. You remember the Tower of Babel? Even our God knew the importance of unity. So what did he do? He changed the language. So they set up a fight. And it's so easy. How would they do it? They have agents. Stir up ethnic strife. Yorubas will fight Hausa, Hausas will fight Igbos and all of that. And they fan the embers. And they constantly do it. So the first genesis of distortion was the initial colonialism, and they continued. In fact, they did it up till 1959, when we had the first elections, the 12th of December. You know what they deliberately did? That election, we know who won that election. Who had more votes? The NCNC had more votes. But originally, the British had planned that it was going to be a hung parliament. You know what they call a hung parliament? A hung parliament is when there's no clear winner in a parliamentary system. So you have to form a government of national unity. The British had known that it would be either the Yorubas and the Igbos, the Action Group, or the NCSC, and the MPC. The MPC was standard. So that was how they did it, and that was what happened. But they knew that was going to bring a very big problem. You had a boisterous Action Group in opposition. There was going to be problems. And they knew it was not going to last. And they knew that it was going to open more fault lines that led to the war in '66. So have you ever wondered that it was just after 6 years after the first elections? No, then we had another elections in '64-65 that spanned into '64-65. So pretty much 6 years after the first election and 2-3 years after the second election, then we had a civil war that further deepened the fault line. So the first agent of distortion, and I'm sure we all know that, it will take years for you to recover from such a strife like that. So they have set the tone for what became the war, and they are giving it to us at a beat, and we are taking it. So once we are taking it, once we have fought the first civil war and all of that, and when the civil war started, they were the ones that started selling their weapons. So afterwards, they started the first genesis of distortion. They had caused hatred amongst us. The hatred means that we will never be able to come together. And please, that's why I say every wall of hatred you have for your brother, break it. Because if they can take our unity, they can take our strength. So once they caused that hatred, we couldn't come together again. And that's what we've been circling with. In the last election, our problem was not about tribe or religion, but they made it about tribe or religion in the end. Because they know the genesis of distortion. So that's the first genesis of distortion. And that's why you see that life in Nigeria has now become something like an Obasian state. It is brutish. We talk about Leah Sharibu. Leah Sharibu is a symptom of a deeper problem. We talk about Nigeria not work. It was not structured in a way that it was going to work. Because people wanted to take it for their own benefit. And that's why they don't like the truth. That's why they want to dominate every sphere. They want to shut people down in the media when you try to rat them out. So they deliberately put all of these things in place so that these systems and these hegemonies will not make you come together and work. You think all of a sudden Boko Haram just started? It's also part of a grand system. Now that we've properly destroyed parts of this country with kidnapping, insecurity, and all of that, it's easy for non-state actors to roam wild. So there was a genesis to the national distortion, and they knew what they were doing. Pre-independence, post-independence. This game is so big that our politicians are just being played as a pawn in the game. But you know why it's easy to play our politicians? Because they see their greed. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. Once they see greed, they exploit the greed of the leaders. Have you ever noticed, why is it that most African countries are poor? Because their leaders are greedy. And they are taking advantage of the mindset of their leaders to destroy the nations. For what reason? For natural resource. Because they know we are blessed. You know, Nigeria has the capacity to be a $10-15 trillion economy. Even more than that. America is going to about 20 trillion now. We have the capacity to be a superpower. But you know, we have so much resource. So the next thing they do is they target the greed of our leaders and the selfish interest of our leaders, and they pull the buckle. So our leaders are so content with them having 5-10 billion in their bank accounts, rather than the collective development of the people. I mean, look at how bad the roads are in Lagos. For a Lagos that collects a lot of taxes. So it's not even about the politicians. It's about the systems that break all of us down, that creates this national distortion. Even with our security system. That's why you see, it will now have different layers. They will put ethnicity in it. They will put religion in it. But these things are deeper than ethnicity and religion. Because they need you to be confused about the dimensioning of these systems. They don't want you to think and know where it's coming from. So the truth is, you can't grow beyond the system that is fraudulent. That's why you see the way we are today with the Naira. All of a sudden, the Naira that used to be 1-to-1 with the dollar, look at where it is today. It's 1,004 something. When they were defending the Naira and we kept on telling them there are no fundamentals, they thought I was joking. They said, oh, that boy is a stupid boy. Has the Naira not started rising again? For a country that is so much blessed with milk and honey, and its currency cannot be stable, you will know to a large extent that is because the leaders are not thinking right and they've been sucked in. So maybe sometime soon we'll defend the Naira even more and it will go back to square one again. But please do not think the Naira will go back to where it used to be before. I'm sorry. I'm in the church. I believe in hope and faith. But I'm a realist to the core. I not sabi deceive people. No. If you think it will be 1-to-1, be careful with what you think. Oh. Except we change the systems and the mindset that makes it difficult for us not to be able to produce as a country. Except we become a productive nation. Except we now start to tackle the genesis of this national distortion, we're not going to go anywhere. So, insecurity you are seeing is a symptom. Have you ever wondered why, growing up, the same army that used to be so powerful cannot get rid of bandits? So you think all of a sudden it just happened? It didn't just happen. You think the system just got destroyed like that? It didn't just start. It was systematically, and they kept on seeping into our consciousness and our mindsets. And that's why you see it's getting more difficult by the day. But you see, in all of this, for those that have facts and know the Lord, their feet shall be firm on the ground. But the thing is, it's not about just having facts and knowing the Lord. So what are you doing about it in your space? Are you part of the national greed? Because the world has enough to meet human need, not human greed. So So we have a leadership that wants to meet their greed and meet our need. It can never be possible. That's why you see how much trillion, 26.7 trillion budget. It's not going to go far. You know why? It's so much greed. A lot of people want to eat. Egunje. So those are the real agents of distortion. Except you understand that these systems are systems that were built inherently not to make Nigeria work, we will be fooling ourselves. And people like Leah Sharibu and other people that have been caught in the crossfire of Nigeria are just victims in all of this. They're just symptoms. The issues are deeper. In the last 10 years, have you seen real progress? It keeps decelerating. Have you ever wondered why? Because there are no fundamentals. All we have is little successes that people amplify, but it doesn't make it true. What 50 naira could buy 10 years ago, can it buy today again? We say we have gas, we are flaring gas, but we can't buy gas in our own country without having an exorbitant fee. We produce electricity, but it's not enough. Despite the fact that they don't give you power, they now come and say band A. And you're not even getting the band. The electricity agency is like bandits. Today, this morning, I had loss of power in the house. I recharged, how much was it? 40,000 naira. And I got, I think, how many units did I get? Maybe a little over 100 units. But have you ever wondered, why is it that at some point power was a lot better then than it is today? Some people will say, oh, it's because Nigerian population grew. No. It's because the system kept on getting corrupt, and more greedy, and more greedy, and more greedy, and more greedy, to the point of distortion. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse. I don't like to deceive people, though. Yes. If the church does not rise up and speak truth to power, if the actors do not rise up and speak truth to power, it's going to be worse. If they ever told you that we can have a country where they can kidnap somebody for close to 10 years, would you ever have believed it in Nigeria before? No. If they ever told you that you will have a country where food can be this expensive, would you ever believe it? If they ever told you that Nigeria now will be so at a point that Benin Republic, their currency is bigger than ours. If you saw the front page of the Telegraph newspaper yesterday, they said Nigerian neighboring countries now reject Naira up for CFA and dollar. Because CFA is 650 to the dollar. Naira is 1,004 something to the dollar. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse, because at some point we are getting to 1,900. This was the same CFA that as at the early 90s, 16,000 naira was 1 million CFA. So the ingredients of national distortion, and in all of this, the political class still wants to grab power. So the ingredients of national distortion is greed. But the funny thing is, what I'm most scared about is the greed of the people. Because you see, all of these unscrupulous politicians, they have agents. Some of them will have agents in this place, isn't it? But because, and I'm going to talk to you today, because of what you want to benefit, you see the truth and you look away. You don't know you're doing yourself. Because if this country is good, it's going to be good for all of us. If this country is not good, it's not going to be good for all of us. Are you happy the way it is that as a city as big as Lagos, we don't have pipe-borne running water? When last can you open your tap and say this is government running water? And for you to still do borehole, they are going to charge you for doing borehole. But guess what? I had a friend that was telling me, I said, 1992, when he moved into his house on Molly Estate, there was pipe-borne running water that came into his house, and they said, connect to government water. So how did the situation become deplorable over the years? So these are the agents of national distortion, and that's why I say insecurity is just part of them. The same north that people used to love to drive to in the past, very lovely roads that your car will even break down, you will sleep on the road, are places that you can't go again because of greed and national strife. But let me tell you, they will look for all sorts of things to cloud it. They will call it, oh, it's because of tribalism and everything. That's why you, the people, need to be united. Yoruba, for an Igbo man, the Yoruba brother is not your problem. For a Yoruba man, an Igbo man is not your problem. For an Hausa man, and a Bibo man is not your problem. The thieving political class are your problems. Because of their own greed, and they don't want you to thrive and move further. And because it's always been a fight between the masses and the bourgeoisies. That was what the British too did during the colonial days. They will always build systems of exploitation from you. They will levy you, they will tax you. Number one system of them is taxes. Now they want to collect what tax from you? Cyber security taxes. Has your earning increased? So, and that's the mindset of, if you continue to get richer, why a lot of people continue to get poorer? Real quickly, how do we break these agents of national distortion? Number one, unity. We must unite across every cultural bound, because our real problems are the perpetrators of evil, not your brother from another tribe. And that's why today I come here on behalf of Nigeria. Anybody that's been caught in any tribal debacle or war, please, I apologize, let's forgive. For this last election, please, let's forgive. We can't continue to hold the hurt so much. It will stop us from progress. These are bad people who want the division to continue so that we will not be able to reason properly for ourselves. So it's a gimmick to set us against each other. You are not my brother. You are not my problem, my brother. You are not my problem, my sister. It is those who are manipulating us that are trying to cause chaos amongst us. So please, whoever is hurt, I beg, on behalf of the integrity and the hope we expect in this country, let's forgive. Secondly, we need to teach our children. You know, I'm always very happy when I see babies. You know, when I see babies, you know what it reminds me? God has not given up on the world. In fact, when I see babies, I say, at least rapture is not coming anytime soon. Because God is still throwing people here. So he has not quit on us. Then parenting, we need to teach our children. Parents, we are not teaching our children enough. Because of the vicissitudes of life, you want to earn, you want to do this. We are neglecting the family. The reason for this problem in Nigeria is that the family structure is dead. We now have a society where people bring things to the house. Parents don't check any longer. Parents don't ask questions. We have Yahoo Boys Mothers Association, and they're proud of it. We need to go back to the home. We need to go back to when parents talk to their children. How many parents still eat dinner with their children? Do you know what the dining table means? It means the bonding table. Please, stop allowing your children to go and eat in the room and eat in different places. All of you talk, see them. Even if you're not saying, look them in the eyes. Dine with them. There are so many things they will tell you over food that they will never tell you when you call them to the room. We are losing that generation. Another thing, we need to hold our politicians accountable. And that's why I say kudos to you, sir. Please, a big round of applause for Reverend. A big round of applause for Reverend. As a church is set up an advocacy group, most churches will not try it. Because they'll be waiting for the day one politician will come and donate drum. Or they'll be waiting for the day politician will come and they will endorse them on stage. Fourthly, we need to read. We don't read enough. Bob Marley says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. We don't read enough. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Go back, set up a library, read, get facts, read the newspaper, know what is happening in your country, know how these things affect you. Then this is how we can truly start to build a country where accountability can be the order of the day. Nigeria is a beautiful country and it will never waste away in the name of Jesus. But let me tell you, apart from saying amen, you need to walk, because the forces that want it to waste away are so more than the forces here that are saying amen. Great lofty height will attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. O God of creation, direct our noble cause. Guide our leaders right. Help our youth the truth to know. May God help us to shine and open our eyes to what is true. God bless you.
I think you can do better for Rufai the Fire.